Welcome to toy-polloi. Parental guidance. This video contains scenes of Lego destruction.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi. Now today we're going to take a look at fixing Action Man's SLR rifle. This is a rifle that comes with an awful lot of outfits. I've got a couple here. I've got the Grenadier Guard and I've got the Basic Soldier, and both of these will come with this SLR rifle. They always have some issues with them, these rifles, because there just seems to be a few areas that tend to break on them. If we take a look at this one here, this sort of covers all the issues that you'll see with an SLR rifle. That is, the two little tabs, there should be a tab there and one there that hold the strap on, are missing, and also the whole of the barrel of this one is missing. If I bring in one that's sort of partially broken from this Grenadier Guard, you can see that there should be a tiny little tab there, which is what the strap holds onto, and you get the barrel, and it should have a little tab on the bottom there, and also this one here at the back is missing. So I'm going to show you how to fix the bulk of these issues today using just some everyday things that you're likely to have around. Especially if you've watched toy-polloi before, you're likely to have these bits already in your sort of tools and spares box. So let's get started. First up, let's deal with the barrel. Now this gun here, you can see, is missing the barrel, and it should look something like the one above. And what we're going to do is remake that using some Lego. Now you'll see me use Lego before for fixing a lot of toys, and a favourite one of mine to use is this Lego Lance. Now you can get this Lego Lance in a couple of colours. I've got one here in black and one in grey, and actually for this it doesn't matter what colour we use because we're going to paint it all at the end, because the original barrel of the gun is painted, as you can see here. So today I'm just going to use a grey one because those are what I have sort of lots of. In fact, I've just got the end of one that I've previously used for another project, and that will do. So first up, we get the little bit of Lego, and you can see that it just happens to be the exact same diameter as the original barrel of the gun. And you find this a lot with Lego, that it just happens to match the scale of some of the other pieces from Action Man and other toy lines. It's obviously a very standard size, so we're going to use that for the barrel, sort of the main length of the barrel. Now at the end of the barrel we have a little sort of thicker section, and I've seen other people sort of slip bits of plastic over the top or something just to make this area, and I'd say that's actually a pretty good way of doing it. I don't have any plastic, so today I'm just going to be using some tape, and this is insulation tape, and it works just as well as sort of sticking something over the barrel. What we're going to do is take a small amount of this tape, and I'm going to stick it sort of on the end of this piece of Lego, and then carefully wrap it around a few times until we get the sort of thickness that we want. So it just takes a few sort of goes round. We can use the original as a measure just to see how thick we're going to get it. So a couple more goes, and that's about as thick as we need. So I have a knife here, and we can cut just along there. So we've now got a sort of thicker end to the barrel, but obviously this isn't the right shape. Really, it's too long. So all we do is we say which sort of end we want to trim down, and I'm going to take the knife again, mark it onto the tape so that it's about the right length, and then just roll it over the Lego to cut through the tape, and then we can remove the section we don't need. Like so. So I can now just unpeel that portion of tape. And there you go, we now have a piece of Lego with a sort of end that looks like the similar size to the original rifle. Now that this is starting to take shape, we need to trim off the end of this Lego Lance. As you can see, it's got a rounded end to it, and if we look at the original, it's got a sort of flatter end. So we're just going to take a pair of plastic nippers and trim off the end so that it's a nice sort of flat surface. And then I've got a small file here, so I can just sort of round it off a little bit just to try and make it look a little bit more like the original one. So just sort of round off the sharper edges. And this is all going to be painted at the end, so you can leave it, you know, if it's got little white marks on it, it doesn't really matter. We're just trying to get something that looks the right sort of shape. So I think that's probably good enough. And just compare those two. Yeah, that looks nice. So now we're ready to prep the gun for fitting this new barrel. Now, as you can see, this one has snapped off and there's still a little bit left of the original barrel. We're actually going to cut all of that off because we want it nice and flush up to the sort of front section. So if I just put my plastic nibs on, we want to sort of cut it up to there, and then we can drill a hole in to fit the new barrel. So I'm just going to use the plastic nippers to hopefully cut this. It's quite brittle, this plastic, sometimes. So you can see it sort of pings off, but that's actually cut reasonably neatly. So now we can drill a new hole to fit this barrel in. The hole you need to drill is going to be a 3mm sort of diameter hole, because that is the size of the Lego pieces. You can do this with a pin vise, but I find it just a bit easier actually to use my hand drill. So I've got a 3mm drill bit in here, and I've just marked a little hole in the end just as a sort of starting point. And you only need to go in about sort of 5 to 10mm, not really that far. It's just enough to sort of hold it in place. So let's get this hole drilled. Now, if you're doing this yourselves at home, I would suggest you use a vise or something, but as I'm filming this, it's a little bit awkward to set that vise up here, so I'm just doing it by hand. You can see that actually fits in quite firmly. I'm going to drill the hole a little bit bigger, but it's starting to make this look like the original gun. It's obviously a little bit long, but we can trim that down. So I'm just going to make that hole slightly larger, and then we can fit this barrel inside the gun. I've now trimmed down the Lego lance just to make it the correct length. As you can see, that matches quite nicely, and we're in a position that we can glue this in. It does actually hold in pretty well without glue, but obviously we want this to last quite sort of well, so I'm going to just drop a tiny bit of super glue into that hole. It doesn't need to be a great deal, and then we'll push this in and that glue will set, and then that barrel shouldn't be going anywhere. You can see that's already made quite a difference to this gun. We'll deal with painting it at the end because we've still got some other jobs to do first. Now, the next thing that's missing on this gun is the little tabs that hold on the strap. I've got the Grenadier Guards gun here, which has one of the tabs still in place. In fact, I've just broken that off. How annoying. You can see there they are very fiddly and very easy to break. It actually looks like this one might have been glued. It's a very small little tab that just goes on at this point, and it's very likely to break off. As you can see, that's just what happens when you try and change the straps on these things. So all of these are missing these little tabs. They're all missing all of them now because that one has broken as well. But it's actually quite an easy thing to replace. Again, Lego comes to the rescue. There's a Lego antenna that you can pick up very easily. I picked these up in bulk off eBay. I normally buy sort of 10 or more of them at any one time. They only cost a few pounds, and you can see the end of these has a little sort of ball on it, and this is perfect because it just fits through the little hole in the straps. So if I just push that onto this strap, you can see it does the exact same job and is a very easy piece of plastic to source. So we're going to use this to recreate all of the little tabs that need to go on these guns. If I just hold that up, you can see that's the sort of thing we're going for. So again, what we've got to do is get a drill bit out and make sure it's the same size as this antenna, and then we're going to drill holes in all of these places and insert these Lego antenna ends to replace those little clips. So the Lego antennas are 2mm in diameter, so I've now got a 2mm drill bit in my drill here. Again, you could use a pin vise for doing this, but as I have the drill already set up, it makes it a slightly quicker job. And I've marked off all of the little holes that need to be drilled. And I've now just got to do 6 holes because I have 3 of these guns to fix. So I'm going to carefully drill in to each one. Now, you don't need to drill in that far on these because the tab holes only stick out a little way, so a small hole like that drilled in 6 locations and we should be good to go. I've just trimmed off one of the Lego ends there, and we can just test fit this into the hole that I've drilled, and you can see that fits quite nicely. So by the time that's glued in place, the fact the peg has gone in quite a long way, the Lego antenna has gone in quite a long way, should make this nice and strong, and we're unlikely to be able to sort of break this off. So it's probably a stronger fix than the original fitting there. So I've got to do this on all the other sort of areas of this gun. I'm going to take that end out. Obviously this bit near the barrel is a little bit thinner, and we're going to be drilling through the new bit that we've replaced on this barrel, but I think it should still work quite well, and then we can test fit this gun with the strap. As you can see, that fits pretty well in there. I'm just going to put a bit of super glue on the end of that Lego and glue it in place, as I have done the one at the back, and that gun is pretty much ready to go. As you can see, we now have 3 guns that are starting to look almost like they should have done originally. Now the only thing I've not done is, if we look at this original gun here, you can see there's a little sort of tab or peg that pops down there, which is where the bayonet attaches. Now you can just remake that. I just use another bit of square Lego, cut it and sort of stick it in place by drilling a hole. But in this instance I'm not going to show you that, because it's just another stage in this process. And actually these guns are just going to go on a normal soldier, and he doesn't have the bayonet, so I'm happy just to leave it as is. And also, if you're going to be doing this sort of fixes, keep all the bits of Lego that are left over. You can see here these are the sort of the aerial and antenna bits with the ends missing now. I use them for other restorations, and all of these Lego pieces come in very handy. So just keep every bit of Lego that you use for sort of cutting up and making things out of, because they always come in handy. Now the last thing we're going to do on this is obviously paint the barrel of this gun, because it really stands out at the moment. And I'm just going to be using an Edding paint pen. You can pick these up pretty cheaply. Anyway, this is a black one, and the black sort of finish it gives is very much like this sort of shiny gloss that we have on the rest of the gun. Now obviously there are actually quite a few little paint rubs all over these guns which I could touch up, but I do like the fact these have been a little bit worn, a little bit battered, so I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to do is paint the barrel of this gun. And with these paint pens, make sure you shake them really well to get a thorough mix. If you don't do that, the paint tends to stay a little bit sticky. So I've given this pen a really good shake, and we can just take the lid off, and I can happily paint the end of this gun now, and we'll make it look like the original gun. And here are the final rifles. As you can see, the new barrel looks pretty good. The paint does match quite nicely. It's a good sort of shininess to it. And if you were going to put this on display, I don't think anyone would particularly notice that that had been modified. Let's try some of these new little tabs that I put on for the straps as well. So I've got the black strap here. We can just push that over the little Lego peg at that end, and it holds on really nicely, and we'll do the same at this end. So there you go, that's this strap reattached. I'll do the white one as well, and we can put that back on the Grenadier Guard. So again, it just goes over the little Lego pegs that we put on the end. I think this will be a bit tighter because the white plastic is not stretched so much. But you can see that does fit really nicely. We can push that on this end as well. Oops, a bit more awkward. There we go, and that gun is ready to go. And there we have it. The SLR rifles are now back ready for display, and Action Man looks good again. Well, I say they're all back ready for display. I still have one that I don't have a strap for, but at some point I'll find a strap. But as you can see, these other 2 guys are ready to go back on display here at toy-polloi. Now I need to say a big thank you to Bruce Allen, who very kindly donated a box of Action Man bits and bobs, which included this Grenadier Guard outfit and a few of these weapons. So it's given me a lot of nice things to fix and show you how to repair on toy-polloi. So I hope this video has been of interest to you, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.